Sorry, good evening, everyone. Madam Clerk? Okay, so it's up to you, Vin.
Thank you, Mayor. First, on for tonight is a private outdoor video security camera registry ordinance. This is an ordinance that we're seeking to have voluntary registration of cameras throughout the city of private, it'll be a public and private partnership. Eventually, after registration, we hope that we can have it where they may be able to provide a live feed to help us in our new command center. Also on tonight is the Johnson Park Sports Facility Phase 3 bond ordinance. Hopefully this will be the last bond ordinance that we have to do for this project. But it's getting ready to go out to bid and move forward, and we just want to make sure all the funding's in place. Third is the final change order for completed city projects. Those projects include John Earl, the John Earl building. We're closing those out, as well as some intersection improvements throughout the city. Last that I have is we also have on tonight a cannabis manufacturing ordinance, which is a new title of the ordinance. Steve, if you want to comment on it.
Yeah, just to briefly sort of put on the record what we're doing here. As everybody knows, we now have a successful cannabis dispensary known as the Hashery. We have our first cannabis cultivation facility that I believe has received planning board approval. And I want to say it's like 286 Lodi, I think is the address, and should be moving forward to actually beginning operations and generating revenue. So after discussion, it was believed that we should allow for 2 cannabis manufacturing licenses in the same location, the industrial part of the city, where we are allowing cannabis cultivation. We also have at least 1 cannabis cultivation license that remains unclaimed, so that's available as well. So, if this ordinance is approved, there will be potentially up to 2 cannabis cultivators and up to 2 cannabis manufacturers, or they can be the same in the same facility. The way the ordinance is designed, you can have 2 licenses, so theoretically you could grow it in one part of the facility and manufacture it in the other part of the facility, provided you meet all of the conditions. And obviously, anyone who would come into town would have to, receive state licensure, go through a process regarding security and, ensuring that they're qualified. There's a very elaborate process that the state has to be licensed to provide any cannabis services of any class within the city. But, I'll point out, since the Hashery's opened, at least as far as I'm aware of, we've had no concerns, no complaints from anybody in the community. We put it in an appropriate location. It seems to be doing successfully. We're generating, quite a bit of tax revenue. So this would just allow us to expand those operations to a slightly different type of cannabis entity.
Thank you, Steve. Last but not least, CSO Stormwater and Parks update. I'll ask that our city engineer, Chris Reeton, come up.
Good evening, everybody. Jumping into our major city projects overview. This list is unchanged since last meeting, and then we'll get into the individual projects. Our current combined sewer separation project is the Anderson Street Drainage Area Project. We are currently working between James Street and Berry Street along Railroad Avenue, and next manhole connection chamber to be installed will be at the intersection of Berry and Railroad Avenue. We are on schedule for completing the sewers installation later this month, so we're really in the home stretch. It's a great thing for the residents here. And then we will be completing final restoration by the end of November. In other sewer contracts, we are working on the East Kennedy pump station generator. The generator's delivery is later in December, and the automatic transfer switch won't be arriving until February, but we have been getting going with the preparations for the site with electrical conduit and the generator pad and catwalk that has been completed as shown. Another project that we are working on is the Green Street or Post-Ida Flood Hazard Mitigation Project. Again, these are some of the lowest areas in the city shown in the red area. This is a supplement to the SRF or State Clean Water State Revolving Fund funded projects shown in green that the city has been pursuing and continues to pursue. The area outlined in red adds about 80 acres of stormwater separation and combined sewer separation and stormwater projects improvements. And we are in the process of preparing the preliminary design for the pump station for this area, as well as finalizing the models to evaluate the possible addition of South Newman Street area to this project area. While we're talking sewers and flooding, it's just a reminder to the public to check your backwater valves if you have one on your house. It would only be required if you do have fixtures that are lower than the grade of the manholes in the street. So this is something that you should be evaluating and being attentive to maintain such a valve if your home has one, as it's really critical when the sewer may have surcharge or backup conditions. It'll protect your house from water entering through your sewer connection. In parks, we are still working to wrap up the Polyfly Park drainage project. We have completed the inlets and piping on site. The site restoration has been completed at the Hillers School at the top of the hill. And today we completed a test pit in Polyfly to confirm the location of utility crossings here. There are a significant number of utilities here. There's 2 telephone duct banks, there's gas, there's stormwater, and there's sewer. All that we're trying to cross to get to our manhole. We do have we will be able to make this connection, but the test pits were necessary as the historic records were inconclusive about the specific location of the utilities. And so now, based with this, now with this information as a basis, we'll wrap up our final design for this connection and complete this project. In roads and traffic, we are currently working on the Prospect Ave pedestrian safety project. This is a DOT-funded project. It includes a new crosswalk at Atlantic Street and pedestrian crossing signals at Thompson Street and Atlantic Street, as well as ADA ramps. Prominent feature is the bump outs. They're a little bit hard to see, but in the bottom right image of the intersection with Prospect and Atlantic, there will be bump outs for the pedestrian crossings, which really does significantly enhance drivers' abilities to see pedestrians waiting to cross and pedestrian safety at those locations. So in this project, we have started just recently. We're working, the concrete work is underway, and the signal equipment will be shipping later this month. And that's what I have. If you have any questions on anything that I haven't covered here.
I got a question. For instance, across the city, the utility companies, they are making the trench to install gas line, water lines. PS&G is doing the same. Who would monitor that when we got a street that was paved maybe 2 years ago? When the utility company, they finish, are they gonna pay curb to curb?
Yes.
Half of the street or what?
They do have to pave curb to curb
Who
upon
monitors that?
completion. That would be through our excavation permit program that gets monitored.
But who gonna be like in charge, make sure that gonna happen? That this company, they're gonna walk away and the street, they're gonna look the way they look right now.
The parties that are doing this excavation have to post bonds for the work that's being performed. If they don't, and our consultants do monitor that practice. If they do not perform, we have those performance bonds to go back to.
Okay, the other thing is, what about the pump station? Do we have a maintenance program that we're gonna go with a program to monitor that this particular program got the sensors and the way they let you know how the pump stations are working? Are we gonna go with that kind of program, or who is do the maintenance and who is controlling these pump stations?
The pumping stations are under the control of our licensed operator, Ryan Westra, and maintained by DPW Sewer Department.
And that's it?
And but there are a number of improvements that have been recommended and are being implemented. One of those is the reporting of alarms and condition of operations at those stations, and that's something that our office is implementing right now with the help of the
And
IT
you think that
department.
good enough?
Do we think it's good enough?
Mhm.
We need to get into the number of inputs and outputs that we want. It's possible that there may be more to the program than what's currently proposed. I think this is something that we've been needing for a while in the city. So it's great that this is getting going and getting underway, and the reporting of data to our operators and to be reporting remotely on the condition of those of the operations for those stations is really very important.
Because sometimes I find out that physical, you have to be there and make sure that the pump station is working. And that happen in a weekend or in the middle of the night. Do we need somebody physical to be there to make sure that the pump is working?
With the remote alarms, we will have that ability, that decision-making capability. And that's the case presently as well. When we have an alarm condition, an assessment gets made to go check out that alarm. An operator does typically get called out if a station is alarming, and will determine what the cause of that alarm is.
And I think that we had to replace one of the stations in the other corner of the city, like by Kennedy Street.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
With that, we're gonna replace the pump station by Kennedy Street.
They're
Y-
putting a new
yes.
generator.
No, they gotta replace the pump too.
There is a need to work on the pumps there, yes.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's gotta go out to bid.
$1.5 million.
Yeah, it's a big job.
Mm-hmm.
How
Okay,
many
thank you.
pumps are in there?
Three.
Three?
And one needs to be overhauled, and the other one needs to be replaced.
Okay. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have a question for Chris? No? Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Okay. With that, I need a motion to open to the public, please.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Anyone from the public who'd like to speak now, please come forward.
Good evening, Mayor and the City Council of Hackensack. My name is Michael Tortorelli. I am the union representative for IBW Local 1158. IBW 1158 represents both the police and fire dispatchers / public safety telecommunicators for the city of Hackensack. First, we want to take a moment to thank the city manager, Vincent Caruso, and his staff for working to achieve a fair and balanced negotiation. You should know that City Manager Caruso was fair and honest in his dealings with IBW and the negotiating committee. The reason I am before you is because the result of those negotiations has stalled. On June 25th, 2024, according to Resolution Number 23824, the City Council approved the collective bargaining agreement between the city and IBW Local 1158. Since that date, there has been constant communication via email and phone calls to execute the contract. but as of today's date, the contract remains unresolved. In the meantime, the implementation of the 12-hour pitman schedule for both fire and police dispatchers has commenced. The dispatchers are working a vastly new schedule. However, the annual salary increases, adjustments, and retroactive payments have not occurred. We are respectfully requesting that the mayor and the city council intervene so that this contract can be finalized and that our members, your employees, who have been working tirelessly for the citizens of Hackensack, can receive their raises and retroactive pay. We would further request that since we are now more than 3/4 of the way through the year, that the retro pay be issued in a separate check so that the members can realize some of the fruits of their labor without being overly taxed, as will happen if this retro and salary adjustments are lumped together in one check. Thank you for your time. Stay safe and stay well.
Thank you, Michael. Any comments on that?
There is a stall right now, and what we're working on is, I'm working with the CFO. There's some contract language that needs to be fixed, post MOU, and there's also some discrepancies with the what is it? Vacation, the way the vacation is written out, and also the salary guides, right? The steps. If you don't mind.
Yeah, briefly, the mayor and council ratified the contract several meetings ago. Part of the ratification was an MOU, a memorandum of understanding. Attached to the MOU that you passed was a salary guide, okay? We took that salary guide and we calculated all the salary increases and the retros according to that guide. When we got a copy of the contract, which is supposed to mirror the MOU, the salary guide was different. We brought that to the attention of the union. They sent us a corrected version. The corrected version is also different than the MOU, and that's why we haven't settled it yet. But it's city manager and I just talked about this morning. Sent an email to the labor attorney. He's asked for a meeting tomorrow internally for us to put the salary issue to bed.
So, yeah, can we expedite this? And what about the question of separating the checks? Is that possible?
Well, everybody's under direct deposit. We don't do checks anymore.
Right.
There are no more paper checks. Everything is done via direct deposit.
Okay.
Mayor Mike, you want to say something?
Go ahead, Mike.
Mayor, I'm sorry. We have been shown in the past that regardless of paper check or direct deposit, that direct deposit can be done in 2 separate deposits as well.
Right.
So even if someone's getting direct deposit, there should be 2 different transfers, one of their regular pay and one of their retro.
Is that possible? Can we do that?
No, we can definitely look into it.
Thank
Do
you.
our best.
Thank you. I
All
appreciate
right?
it.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Mhm. Anyone else from the public? Seeing none, motion to close.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we have till 8 o'clock.
You can close both the executive and the count.
All right, Steve, you want to speak
Yes.
first?
Yes, in closed executive session, as usual, we did talk about ongoing litigation, including the Ramirez case, the ongoing affordable housing litigation, the Donnell Prince litigation, and the ongoing litigation longstanding involving Police Chief Zisa. I believe that's it.
Thank you. Motion to close the executive session.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Motion to close the council of the whole.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Okay. See everybody at 8.
the door. Give him a minute. Just, he's right there. Just give him a minute.
Good evening, everybody. Madam Clerk?
This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act, NJSA 10:4-6 et sec, notice of which was sent to the record in the Star Ledger and was posted on the municipal bulletin board.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg. Here. Deputy Mayor Canestrino. Here. Councilmember Pataglia. Here. Councilmember Carroll. Here. Mayor LaBrus.
Here. Would everybody please rise for the flag salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, I do have one proclamation to read before we start our new business this evening. Office of the Mayor of the City of Hackensack, whereas breast cancer affects hundreds of thousands of women and thousands of men annually, whereas breast cancer is typically detected either during a screening, examination, before symptoms have developed, or after symptoms have developed, when a man or woman feels a lump. And whereas breast cancer is about 100 times more common in women than men, and women are at increased risk as they get older. And whereas breast cancer is often hereditary, and individuals whose family history puts them at increased risk for breast cancer should discuss with their doctor or qualified health professional the proper prevention and early diagnosis strategies. And whereas since the early 1990s, the pink ribbon handed out and spread by the Susan G. Komen Foundation has been the symbol for the fight against breast cancer, and whereas October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, an opportunity to increase awareness of the disease and to encourage individuals to have a plan to detect the disease in its early stages. And whereas it is vital that those affected by cancer have access to quality, affordable care, and that research of all forms of breast cancer continue to be vigorously supported. Now, therefore, I, John P. LaBrosse Jr., Mayor of the City of Hackensack, along with members of the City Council, do hereby recognize the month of October as Breast Cancer Awareness Month in the City of Hackensack. Thank you. Okay. There's no minutes to approve, so we'll go right to the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. The City of Hackensack Pumpkin Carving Contest is back. To enter, submit a photo of your carving, the pumpkin, and a photo of the finished carving to contest@hackensack.org, along with your name, age, address, and phone number. All pumpkins will be posted on social media for residents to vote on. Submission deadline is October 31st. Winners will be announced November 1st. The Slam Dunk the Junk event will take place in Atlantic Street Park on October 26th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. To register, visit hackensack.org/slam. No registrations will be taken on site. The City of Hackensack will be holding the free annual Children's Halloween Party from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. on October 26th at the M&M Building, the Recreation Center, featuring a variety show and the annual costume parade around the neighborhood. Hackensack Junior Wrestling registration is open. The deadline to register is November 1st. The last day to register to vote before the November general election is October 15th, 2024. You can register to vote online or by paper applications, which are available outside the clerk's office. Early voting will be held on October 26th through November 3rd at 1 Bergen County Plaza. That's it, Mayor.
Thank you. Start with new business. You ready, Deb?
Yep.
Resolution 341-24.
This is a resolution for final adoption of ordinance number 37-2024, an ordinance to amend Chapter 170 of the Code of the City of Hackensack Vehicles and Traffic to add no parking on Park Street at Berry Street. This ordinance has been published according to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Need a motion to open to the public?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Anybody who'd like to speak to this ordinance and this ordinance only, please come forward. Seeing no members of the public, motion to close.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion to adopt the ordinance.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed.
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack County of Bergen and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 37-2024 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Resolution 342-24.
This is a resolution for the final adoption of ordinance number 38-2024, an ordinance to amend Chapter 170 of the Code of the City of Hackensack Vehicles and Traffic to add a new handicap parking space in Section 49.2, parking for the handicapped Ross Avenue. This ordinance has been published according to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Need a motion to open to the public?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Anyone who'd like to speak to this ordinance and this ordinance only, please come forward. Seeing no members from the public, motion to close.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Motion to adopt the ordinance.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed.
Be resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, that ordinance number 38-2024 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Resolution 343-24.
This is a resolution for final adoption of ordinance 39-2024, an ordinance to amend and update Chapter 32 of the Code of the City of Hackensack Police Department to establish the position of Chief of Police in the Departmental Table of Organization. This ordinance has been published according to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Need a motion, please.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh, we have one abstain. We need a roll call. My bad. Sorry, Jerry.
It's okay.
Okay, so Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Abstain.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Okay.
Now you need,
Motion to open the public?
Offer.
that was
Second.
what
A
that
motion
was.
motion to adopt the ordinance.
No,
Wait a minute.
motion to close. the
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute, we got
You
totally
ju-
lost on
The
this
motion that
one.
we just did was the motion to open to the public.
Okay.
So now you need to, if anybody wants.
Anybody from the public who'd like to speak to this ordinance and this ordinance only, please come forward. Seeing nobody, motion to close to the public.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
No, Jerry.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye. Yeah.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Abstain.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. My bad.
Now you need a motion to.
adopt.
Motion to adopt the ordinance.
Offer.
Second.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Abstain.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack County of Bergen and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 39-2024 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Resolution 344-24.
This is a resolution for introduction of ordinance number 40-2024, an ordinance amending Chapter 32 of the Code of the City of Hackensack Police Department to establish a new article entitled Private Outdoor Video Surveillance Security Camera Registry.
Need a motion?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Abstain.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 40-2024, as introduced, is now passed on first reading, and the said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on October 22nd, 2024, at 8:00 p.m., or as soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution 345-24.
This is a resolution for introduction of ordinance number 41-2024, a bond ordinance providing for the construction of Johnson Park Sports Facility by and in the city of Hackensack in the county of Bergen, state of New Jersey, appropriating $8,500,000 therefore, including federal funds received from the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 in the amount of $2,370,500, and including funds available in the city's cash reserve in the amount of $2 million, and authorizing the issuance of $3,932,000 in bonds or notes of the city to finance part of the cost thereof.
Need a motion, please.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
No.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 41-2024 is introduced, is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on October 22nd at 8:00 p.m. or soon thereafter, as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law with the notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution 346-24.
It's a resolution for the introduction of ordinance number 42-2024, an ordinance to amend Chapter 175 zoning of the Code of the City of Hackensack to allow for 2 Class 2 cannabis manufacturing licenses pursuant to the New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Enforcement Assistance and Marketplace Modernization Act.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
We have one abstain, so I need a roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Abstain.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved that the above ordinance, being ordinance 42-2024, is introduced, does now pass on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on October 22nd, 2024, at 8:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter, as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution 347-24.
This is a resolution authorizing the award of state contract for enhanced fluid recovery services for monitoring wells located at fire headquarters.
Need a motion?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Resolution 348-24.
It's a resolution awarding change order number 1, which is final, to G. Meyer Group for 216 Union Street renovation project.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 349-24.
It's a resolution awarding change order number 1, which is final, to New Prince Concrete Construction for intersection improvements at Summit Avenue, Passaic Street, First Street, Beach Street, and First Street, and Central Avenue.
Okay. Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. 350-24.
It's a resolution authorizing the cancellation of stale and outstanding checks.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. Resolution 351-24.
It's a resolution authorization for cancellation of federal and state grant balances.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Resolution 352-24.
It's a resolution authorizing tax refunds for state board judgments, tax exempt, and county board judgments.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Resolution 353-24.
It's a resolution authorizing credit for veteran deduction for block 454, lot 14.
Need a motion?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Resolution 354-24.
It's a resolution authorizing payment of bills.
Need a motion?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. I'm sorry, I abstained. The resolution, anybody have any conflicts on the consent agenda? None? Gentlemen? None?
Okay.
Okay, continue.
The following items are considered to be routine in nature and will be enacted in one motion. Any items requiring expenditure are supported by a certification of availability of funds. Any item requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda, and consent agenda items will be reflected in full in the minutes, including any exceptions and/or additions. Consists of Resolution 355-24 through 364-24. 355-24 is a resolution authorizing release of escrow funds for Overlook, First Street, and Anderson Street. Resolution 356-24 is a resolution authorizing release of performance bond for 103 Johnson. Resolution 357-24 is a resolution authorizing memorandum of understanding for childhood lead exposure prevention project between Bergen County Department of Health Services and the City of Hackensack. Resolution 358-24 is a resolution authorizing memorandum of understanding between Bergen County Department of Health Services and the City of Hackensack for a period of July 1, 2024 to June 30th of 2025. Resolution 359-24, resolution authorizing release of escrow funds for Union Street, Main Street, and Martin Terrace. Resolution 360-24 is a resolution authorizing raffle licenses for Holy Trinity Church and the 300 Club. Resolution 361-24 is a resolution approving the recreation and open space inventory for filing with the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection Green Acres Program. Resolution 362-24 is a resolution authorizing the settlement of the workers' compensation matter filed for Ronaldo Rivera pending in the New Jersey Division of Workers' Compensation, case number 2022-3057. Resolution 363-24 is a resolution authorization for issuance of requests for proposals for elevator consultant. And Resolution 364-24 is a resolution awarding cooperative purchasing contract for the upgrade of the city's computer router system. With that, I need motion.
Need a motion?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Okay. That went rather quickly. So I need a motion to open to the public, please.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. Anybody from the public who'd like to speak, please come forward. Give your name to the clerk. You will have 3 minutes. We have a big crowd here, so I'm going to hold everybody to the 3 minutes.
You can say it in the mic.
You could just
that's
speak
fine.
to the mic, sir.
I can start when I'm ready.
Is it on?
I would hope so.
Just tap on it.
Yeah,
See if it,
Yeah,
yep,
okay.
it's working.
I didn't know if it was on.
Appreciate it. Sean Holder, coach for Hackensack. Good evening, council members and Hackensack community. I'm here today to address a series of incidents involving one of our council members. I wrote it up. I wrote it up pretty nice, but I don't really like talking like that, so I'm just going to explain to you my experiences with Councilman Battaglia over the last few weeks. On September 12th, the councilman tried to have my Royals club removed from a field that we had the legal right to use. The situation escalated to the point where the police had to intervene, and after a thorough review, the police determined that we were in the right to actually be able to continue our practice on that field. We then moved to a second facility in order to complete our second practice, and to our surprise, the councilman actually followed us to another field in an attempt to continue to harass my staff and my players. A couple days later, following that incident, actually, excuse me, the second time when he followed us, I had to call the police to get him removed. And so we had police intervention for 2 times on that day on September 12th. As if that was not enough, on September 16th, that same councilman attended one of our high school soccer games to slander and berate not only me, but my players as well. On that day, he referred to me using a term, that Negro, a remark that deeply offended me, something I find unacceptable. He made further comments about my team. He made comments about the skill and the appearance of my team. His remarks towards me on September 16th was something he did in front of my Comets friends and family that come to support our games. So those 2 incidents have been my recent experience with Councilman Battaglia, and I can only believe that his actions towards me are as a result of the color of my skin and the kids that I coach. I share this. I really didn't even want to come up, but I share this because I really do mean this. I've managed to get to places and do things that a lot of people thought wasn't possible. I've had the opportunity to be in rooms that people thought I didn't belong in. My days consist of long efforts to open doors and opportunities for kids in our soccer community. I am thankful every day that my coaches, my parents, my players put their trust in me to do the right thing. And going forward, I really do hope that Hackensack can make a stand together in saying that this type of behavior is never okay. It's okay. It's time to stop being comfortable with that type of hatred and the man has been following me, the man has been harassing me, and I think it's time to make that stand. And I hope that the councilman can look me in the face and apologize to me tonight. Thank you very much. Thank you for the time.
Thank you. Next person, please. Give your name to the clerk, please.
Hello,
Thank
my
you.
name is Melissa Zarella. I am here for the same concern. I witnessed the foul language used by Councilman Battaglia on September 16th, where he has gone forward and searched for our high school and Royal player parents to speak ill of Coach Sean. I had wrote out that at Paramus High School, I saw Councilman Battaglia making derogatory comments about our goalkeeper on the Hackensack High School team. During the second half, with 15 minutes remaining in the game, Mr. Battaglia approached the parent of a player on the Hackensack High School team. In Spanish, he began saying, the coach, Mr. Holder, is blind and the goalkeeper from the team should be at least 5'11" or at least have skills. He continued and stated in Spanish a derogatory term that I do not want to repeat, referencing his complexion, and that he then stated that he does not know what he is doing and doesn't have what it takes to make it as far as the top 5 for the district. I addressed him stating he should not be making these racial comments towards Mr. Holder or speaking so negatively about the Hackensack students on the field. I asked our city councilor, why do you even attend games if you have no children who play at the high school level? He stated that we are not in Hackensack, that this is Paramus, and he is free to be at the game and say what he wants. I'm in shock that an elected city official shows up to games to speak in such a derogatory manner about the children of the city he serves and showed no remorse when I called him a racist regarding the comments he made about Mr. Holder. He did not try to apologize, spoke about the color of his skin, his lack of skill as a coach, and his height. His family was in attendance, and at one point his grandson stood next to him while he defended his words and actions. His son and Councilman Battaglia's wife sat in the stands and only moved off once the councilman exited the campus of the gates. His family did not try to approach me or defend him. And it is such a shame to hear this coming from an elected city official who should be in attendance supporting the children of the city he was elected to serve. And that is all.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Suzanne Mullings. I'm here on behalf of the Bergen County Black Caucus. And I'm also here in support of Councilman Carroll, whether he knows it or not. The issue that was brought forth earlier is very troubling, not only in Hackensack, but neighboring communities, because this incident requires remediation. At the very least, the coach deserves an apology. And rather than Mr. Carroll being removed from a slate that he shouldn't even want to be on, you know, you should be removed pending investigation, because the council has to take action in a way that is suitable for the community. And as the young lady before me said, they deserve better. And if this type of behavior is continued, tolerated, and deemed acceptable, then I don't think that Hackensack or any other community will move forward, because it is unacceptable. You know, what happened, you know, it will be continue to be addressed until there's some resolution. It won't be swept under the rug, and taking him off the slate is actually a good thing, because I don't think anyone would want to support a slate that is going to harbor someone who is demonstrating this type of behavior without any dialogue, repercussion, or type of resolve, so that the community can heal and move on. Thank you.
Thank you. Next person, please.
Bridget, when I get a call from young people about a council person using derogatory language towards them, that is very disturbing to me. I'm a parent, I'm a grandparent. I wouldn't want anyone calling my family members out of their name. But Leo, you need to understand two things. You don't own these parks. You don't own the recreation department. You don't own it. It belongs to these people who pay taxes. Now, you live here and you pay your fair share of taxes, I hope. But the narrative is, you got to stop thinking that you own stuff. You own nothing. You were elected by these people. But guess what? Instead of removing Mr. Carroll, they should be removing you. But when next May comes, 1, 2, 3, 4, you're not going to be sitting there. It's going to be a whole new council. And this town is going to be so different and inclusive. And we're going to listen to the people of the community. But like I said, you don't own nothing. But if you want to be on that next train like the ex-Senator Menendez, I can get you on that train. Trust me. Private investigation is a beautiful thing. So just know you need to apologize to that coach and those kids. And you need to do it tonight.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Billy Mercedes. Thank you for having me. Apart from being a parent and having my son sitting in the front row, I am a licensed professional counselor, meaning that I run a mental health agency here in Hackensack covering all of Bergen County, dealing with mental health, meaning I deal with people and kids that want to hurt themselves, that are being abused, that are being disrespected, that are being targeted for their skin color, maybe their accent. I've been in homes with these fellow officers where we had to deal with kids and take them to Bergen Regional. And I have to sit at practice and hear you berate our coaches to the point where I try to step in and these great coaches tell me, no, we don't want parents stepping in. So what do? I back away. But today, the people are speaking. Today, I wrote a letter to all of you that I want to share here today. Mr. Caruso, thank you very much for responding to me right away. That man right there, Coach Carroll, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that man right there. I have my master's, I have my licensed professional counselor, I have all my degrees thanks to that man right there and many others. Coach Whiting? Right, how many of you know Coach Whiting? So I want to take this, please don't bow your head, please look at me. This is very serious, I take mental health very seriously. And seeing you bop your eyebrows are keys that I notice. It was very disrespectful. You don't belong there. They all know it. Every single one of them knows it. You hear that silence? Feel that. Feel that. I'm going to read what I wrote. Dear council members, I'm writing to bring to your immediate attention a disturbing situation involving Councilman Leonardo Battaglia and the Royals Youth Program on September 12, 2024. His recent conduct has not only been disrespectful, but profoundly unacceptable and damaging to our community. There has been alarming reports of Councilman Battaglia harassing the team manager and unleashing racial and prejudice slurs directed at our head coach, someone who's been raising my son to be confident, to be successful, to be a leader. This kind of behavior from an elected official is disgraceful, embarrassing, and has no place in our community. It sends a clear message that bigotry and disrespect are tolerated, which is absolutely contrary to the values we strive to uphold. Am I right or am I wrong? Furthermore, his attempt to remove the children from the middle school soccer field are not only overreach of authority, but an attack on the very spirit of youth sports, which are essential for building confidence, teamwork, and resilience to our young people. And I will not allow you to do that to my son or to my kids. I have a 1-year-old right there who's going to be a Royals. I implore the council to take swift, decisive action regarding this matter. It's not just an apology. That's enabling behavior. We don't enable. One of my biggest things as a counselor, well, as a professional counselor, is we cannot enable behavior. An apology is not enough. We need to show something. Am I right, Mayor LaBose?
I'll speak afterwards.
Thank you.
You'll hear my piece.
Thank you, everyone, for your time.
Thank you.
Good evening, Reverend Carolyn Davis. I was at the last city council meeting when, Mayor, you made a statement that you had assumed that Gerard Carroll was coming to call you a racist. He made a statement that never mentioned that. But you made that assumption based on what you said you heard. And you said that Deputy Mayor Canestrino would never lie to you. Well, somebody lied to you. I had that email.
Okay.
I've had it since it first came out. I'm speaking the truth. I have my 3
You're calling me out
minutes.
as a liar.
I didn't call you a liar. I said somebody
Calling you,
probably called you a
but
liar.
now you're also calling the city.
I said
you're also
somebody-
calling- Excuse me.
I did not
I'm
say
running
that.
the meeting. Mrs.
I
Davis
did not say that. I said
someone
somebody lied.
lied to you. So
I
who-
said somebody lied.
Right.
I didn't call any
And I
names.
told you who told me that night.
I said
Okay.
somebody.
So
Everybody
we're- all
wasn't
right.
there.
We're going to word salad. Go ahead, finish your 3 minutes.
So stop the clock because you interrupted me. All right. So I'm going back to what I said. Somebody lied.
Yes,
I'm
and
gonna
he's
say it
sitting right,
again.
and he's sitting right there.
Somebody
You
lied.
want to go over
No,
the conversation
no,
of that
stop
night,
the
Mr.
clock.
Carroll? Because I
Stop.
can tell you
Stop the
word
clock.
for word
Stop,
what you
stop.
said to me.
Stop the clock.
Ms. Davis?
I can tell you
Put
word
10 minutes
to
on,
word
10
what we
seconds on the
said
clock
to
and we'll
me
continue.
and what we said to the city
I'm
attorney.
not talking to you right now.
Well, I'm
Stop the
talking
clock.
to you because
This
you
is
are
my
calling
time.
me a liar.
This is my time.
You are calling
You're
me
going to
a
have
liar.
a lot of people to talk to, so keep
Hey,
interrupting.
whoa, stop. Officers, I want everyone sitting down, number one. Please. I'm asking you to please sit, all right?
Now, you said that you had known Mr. Carroll for a long time.
Yes, I have.
And if that was a friend, you should have picked up the phone and called him and asked him about that conversation instead of saying you assumed. I have the right to say what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
That's what you should have done.
Okay.
If he had been a friend for a long time.
You haven't said one thing that's true yet, but
Instead,
go
have
ahead.
you said, I'm having my time.
Go ahead.
You have your time later, like
Go
you
ahead.
said.
I'm going to have my time
This
right
is-
when you're done talking.
This is enough is enough. Enough is enough. Mr. Battaglia, you do not own the fields. And if you made racist comments that we heard in that email, I read the email, he never mentioned you, Mayor. He never mentioned Deputy Mayor. He mentioned only Councilman Battaglia. I have the original email. I've had it for
do I.
2 weeks. And for 2 weeks, you have not, 3 weeks, addressed it at all. That's a shame and a disgrace.
That's not true.
I was at the meeting, you never said anything. You
I
never
didn't
came
address
back
it
to
here,
us.
but I addressed it with Coach Holder.
You did not address it publicly. It should have been addressed publicly because it went out
Because
publicly.
it was an investigation started and we were waiting for the investigation to finish. And I had said that to Coach Holder, that it was going to be investigated. Talk to the city manager, stop the clock,
Okay,
please.
stop the clock, stop the clock.
Go
Let me
ahead.
finish my statement.
I will finish
All right.
when you're done.
It bothers me that you think more of being called a racist than a councilman making children and a coach feel under pressure of being made racist comments. So it bothers you more that you
Not
felt
true.
Councilman Carroll called you a racist than this repeated behavior of Mr. Battaglia. That's what should have been addressed, not making him leave the ticket. If anyone should have made Councilman Battaglia need the ticket. But I know this much. You always want a black person on the ticket to get the black vote. I think any black person who would run this ticket better think again. Because if you allow that behavior, it's terrible.
Thank you. So I'm gonna interrupt the flow right here. Sorry, Mr. Gaines. So here's what transpired, and I want everybody to know, and this is fact, and I have our city attorney, all right, who by law is not going to sit here and lie, all right? Deputy Mayor Kathy Canestrino received a phone call from Councilman Carroll. Excuse me. People speaking from the audience will be asked to leave, all right? If you don't leave, you'll be escorted out by our police department, all right? It's going to be that simple. We're going to respect each other. I respect all of you. Coach Holder, I respect you. You and I exchanged an email exchange, correct? Okay? So to say they didn't react is totally misinformation, okay? The deputy mayor was called by Councilman Carroll. Um,
On
As a matter of
Thursday,
fact,
on Thursday morning.
I'm going to let her speak right now. Thank you.
I received a phone call from Councilman Carroll on Thursday morning. So his statements that within hours a news article was written is not true, because he called me Thursday morning and the news article came out Monday afternoon. So let's just start fact by fact, right? My conversation with Councilman Carroll, he was very concerned about what happened, as was I, right? All of this is very disturbing to everyone that's sitting here on this dais tonight. His conversation with me continued that he was coming to this council meeting and we were all going to be very unhappy because he was going to say the entire council are racist. Now, Jerry, let's refresh, that's exactly what you said, and you repeated it to our city attorney. That is true. I'm sorry, Julie. I heard it too. I was on the phone with him, and I will finish. I actually begged him to reconsider and call out the individual that he is concerned about that made such statements, not the rest of this council that had nothing to do with this issue. We went over this repeatedly, and I asked him to do what was correct and not to call this entire council racist, but to refer to the incident that happened. This conversation lasted for quite some time. All right, Jerry, I'll remind you of what you said to me. I'm tired of defending you and John. Now I can call you racist because I have information to do so. I can tell you word for word because I made notes about that conversation. He called out Stephanie von Rutenberg with no basis of information. After this occurred, of course I was concerned because it also put not only all of us who had nothing to do with this, but also put the city in a bad position. So I asked our city attorney to please call Mr. Carroll and ask the same questions. Can I ask you, Steve, to please say what happened in your conversation?
I spoke with Councilman Carroll at length. I believe it was on the Friday before the weekend. I will say I thought Councilman Carroll was forthright with his concerns, and I think he was anguished over the circumstances that we find ourselves in. But I will make clear that Councilman Carroll made clear to me that his dispute was not specifically with Councilman Battaglia, but with the entire council. And we did discuss this at length. And I certainly told him repeatedly, I said, you have every right to feel the way that you feel. But make no mistake, his concern and his dispute and his issue was not with what happened, but he expressed to me concerns that were broader than that. And I have accurately relayed that to the governing body because that is what happened.
Correct. That's correct.
And if I may add, when the city found out, when I found out personally, because folks in my neighborhood came to talk to me about the fact that the game was disrupted and all you wanted to do was have peace and have your games at the middle school and not disrupt the sporting activities of the young people of this town. I reached out to Allison, and herself and myself worked that entire day to make sure that the lights were there and that the team could practice in peace, not have to go back and forth between the two parks, and start immediately at their next practice with the lighting in that field and get back to the way the game should, or the practices, should have been run. So the city tried to react immediately to diffuse the situation while we investigated that activity. And those actions are exactly what happened. The issue is if Mr. Carroll felt that this entire council sitting here are racist, which is what he told me repeatedly in that conversation, then he shouldn't want to be running with us either. We certainly can't have that. There's no actions by myself, the mayor, Stephanie, any of us that would put us in that situation. We were not at those games. We had nothing to do with any of this, and it was a very disturbing information, and I'm happy to see that that conversation was repeated. I'm glad I called the city attorney so that he also begged him to not do that, to focus on the issue, not on everyone that's sitting here. And that is the truth. So I've said my piece, and that's exactly what happened.
So,
Okay.
We are investigating it. We are. If you read the news articles, you saw what was stated. Our position going forward just included the three of us that are sitting here until we do an investigation and make decisions. It wasn't isolated or identified only to Councilman Carroll. It was just to support our investigation into the issues. That's exactly what happened. And you can distort it, you can claim what you said or didn't say. I'm so happy you repeated those same words to our city attorney, and it was very, very, very discouraging to have to hear that.
All right, you heard Deputy Counsel, and you also heard the city attorney, and I agree to what the city attorney said. But as of what the deputy mayor said, absolutely not. I never said that in those words. So she can call me all the names she wants. I have no problem accepting that. But I did not say that. I did not say what she stated in those words. Yes, I did say by what was going on makes the council look racist. That's what I said. Because
I was not at all.
and by saying that it makes the council look racist, I'm quite sure that I was part of the council, you know, even though they may not see me as part of the council, but by me making that statement, it makes the council looks racist. It also includes me. And that was my concern also. I did not want this issue to be pushed under the carpet like many other issues that have been pushed under the carpet. So if the deputy mayor wants to sit back there and say what she wants to say and come up with this and feed the mayor, you know, what, you know, she feels she needs to say, fine, that's all dandy with me. But I did not say that, and for those of you who know me, you know what's going on. Yes, I protected in the past all the racist, when people came up there and they said they're racist stuff, and I fought for them and said they were not, and I went to battle for them. I sure did. And that's all I gotta say at this point.
I mean, I was not there, obviously, for what the conversation was between the deputy mayor and Councilman Carroll. But to the extent that there is any question about the conversation that we had, you know, I discussed multiple times with Councilman Carroll, and I said, you know, look, obviously, and I wasn't there, I don't know what happened with respect to Councilman Battaglia or that incident. And as I said, I truly believe Councilman Carroll was anguished by the whole situation. But he 100% made clear, conversations, I said, you know, are we going to focus on what happened with Councilman Battaglia in addressing this issue? And Councilman Carroll made clear to me that that was not his intention, that his intention was speak against the entire governing body and how he felt they had handled this matter and I suppose other matters as well. That is what happened. That is the conversation that we had. It was not specific to Councilman Battaglia, broader than that, and that's what I accurately reported to the governing body when they asked me if I had spoken with Councilman Carroll, and that's what he told me.
okay. Mr. Gaines, you're up. Sorry for the delay.
It's your show.
How are you?
I'm okay.
Good.
Pardon me. I want to just ask for a brief amendment with something that Councilman Carroll said. He said, the deputy mayor can call me every name in the book. Might not be the right thing to say because we know some of the names in the book that some of the council people like to use that are sitting up there. Now, it is crazy to me as I walk in and see a bunch of kids here, people who are parents, people who are employed by the Hackensack Public Schools, that it seems like the only victim here, as always, is you, Mayor LaBrosse, or Deputy Mayor Canestrino. When people start to applaud, you gavel. When people come out for the police are the enemy. But when people are on your team, whether they be Leo Battaglia, whether they be Francis Kajelja, you stand by them and say, I'm John LaBrosse, my name is on the top of the ticket, I get to do whatever I want. That's what you think. That's really what you think. Now, we should be talking about a bunch of kids here that had to bear witness to one of your teammates using a racial epithet about a black person that starts with an N.
Agreed.
That's what we should be talking about. But instead, we're getting into the nuances of telephone calls about Councilman Carroll, who has every outrage to hear that one of his teammates is using racial epithets in front of children. There is no apology to those kids, and I appreciate that you've reached out to the coach, but there were kids that were there watching everyone be silent and having you make the situation about yourself. I don't know what else says that there's a problem with race when you say Councilman Carroll was going to bring up an issue with race, so I'm going to run for re-election with all the white people on my team and get rid of everyone else. Everyone else. And not Leo because of his words, but because of a potential health issue. Not because of his words, but because of a potential health issue. That is what the article said. And so the article to me was not an article. It was a casting call. Because the game that we play on the LaBrosse team is the Blackchiller, where people get to come out and audition in front of you to debase themselves and have to apologize for your actions, and they're in it for love, but we know it's only going to last a season. Now, that is the problem with the way that we do government here. Everyone should be held to the same standard, and it should be a high standard, especially when we were talking about actions in front of kids. Thank you.
Next, please.
Good evening, everybody. Mayor LaBrosse and members of the council, I had the pleasure of working with you professionally and in the civic interest of our community. I particularly recognize the efforts of both the Mayor LaBrosse and Councilman Carroll. As your leaders, I've worked with most often in the service of Hackensack's residents. However, there's a situation we're facing today, and this calls for reflection. While there have been defenses made on behalf of the council as a whole, it's important to acknowledge that the concerns raised focuses on the alleged actions of a specific member. To everyone here, this isn't about politics or personal differences. It's about basic human decency and doing what's right. I believe Hackensack's greatest strength is its diversity, but we risk weakening it by allowing disrespect and division to take root. Respect is the foundation of our community and is essential to its future. We all make mistakes, but certain moments demand reflection and personal accountability. This could be a chance for leadership to reassess any desensitization in their approach, and over time, return to service with a renewed alignment to Hackensack's values. Lastly, leadership that is aligned with the values of growth of our community must essentially pay respect to all of us. That's all I'd like to say. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Chris.
Donna West, Hackensack. I'm here as an educator in the Hackensack school system. I did want to address the young people. I was not fully aware of the problem. And so I do want to say that it's a shame when adults will tell you to not do what they do and to not do what they say and then expect you to somehow not follow what they're doing. So hopefully we'll set a better example for you. I stand here as one who works in one of the schools, Nellie K. Parker, and we're overcrowded. I spoke to one of your trustees, I won't put the person on blast, And I asked the person, do you think that any of all of this redevelopment has any impact on the schools? The person said to me, no, the children are not coming from those buildings. Hackensack actually needs to do a residency check. Those were the words. Residency check or not, I am one who works in a school that is overcrowded. And yet I don't see any of you. You have children. You moved your grandchildren just in time. Your wife, your grandchild, and grandchildren, right? They're in these schools. You know it's overcrowded. You have the nerve to have a building built next to the middle school, which was already crowded, and there's no sense of how do we work together with the Board of Ed to figure this out. Now, I just left the Board of Ed forum or whatever, so we're gonna see. But this ongoing feud between the City Council and the Board of Ed affects, guess who? Them, who are in overcrowded classrooms, who are with teachers who can barely meet the needs of what these children need. And then the explanation last month from the deputy mayor was, when people asked, well, why are they not, giving back like Hoboken, Jersey City, all of that? And I believe, if I'm quoting you incorrectly, please let me know, but they give money to the fireworks display. So if Hackensack can be bought and sold for a fireworks display, then shame on you for sitting there. You did say it. Last thing, for the life of me, if you know that we are redeveloping and developing, and there's increased traffic, and there's more people, can you explain to me why construction has to take place at 8 o'clock in the morning when people are trying to get to school and to work? You know that the city is already dealing with these issues. Thank you.
Thank you. Next person, please.
Natasha Taylor. I'm a lifelong resident of Hackensack. My father, my uncles, my godfather, my father's friends, myself, my siblings, my friends, we all played sports here in Hackensack. And the one thing that I tell other parents and people that are not even from Hackensack is the one thing that I learned here in Hackensack that I don't think other people learn other places is how to work together with people that look and don't look like you to win. So if we're learning that in sports, that's what the kids are still learning. Mm-hmm. So when somebody shows up to a game and makes comments that they had to hear that day, we are not teaching them how to learn how to win with people that look and don't look like them. It's disgusting, it's embarrassing, and it needs to be addressed immediately. And the same way that it was loud and disrespectful those days that were done, it needs to be loud and clear in front of everybody. To apologize to these kids, apologize to the community. That's not meant for here. This is not meant for Hackensack. It's not meant for Hackensack at all. And if that's how you feel, it's not where you belong.
Deborah Keeling Geddes, Hackensack. I'm going to try to just put down some notes, but I think the council handled this situation terribly. I think because you knew that this was going to be a big issue, that a press release, if you said that an investigation was getting ready to was happening, you should have made a press release. And maybe, it could have, some of this wouldn't have been so contentious. Mr. Carroll, I've sat in the chair that we're sitting now. A lot of us, myself and a lot of us, worked hard to get this council on in 2013 when they were Citizens for Change. One thing led to another, and we had different ideas of how things should go, and we got off the same page. We weren't friends anymore. I got elected in 2015 when Rose Greenman stepped down. There was an issue with a black employee of the city who was, the elevation was highly celebrated and publicized, and then it was taken away. A lot of people in the Black community asked me why, okay? In my thinking, the council wanted to just make it go away, but I was the one that was being bombarded with the questions, and I made a statement in the paper. Of course, that wasn't taken well. But also, I'm not surprised at how this was handled because, like in 2015, when Rose Greenman was still on the council, the meetings were out of control. They were out of control. It was a circus. There were residents here, white residents who were here, who were very mean to Miss Greenman, a Jewish lady. And it was just a circus. I mean, they strutted around everything. And not once were they threatened with being removed by the police. Not once. Myself and Tony Haverty got up to make comments. The council didn't like what I said. The police were called to us. 2 Black women. Regina De Pasqua, she's not Black, she's Italian, I guess. She was another outspoken person. The police escorted her out. So I'm just saying, I'm not surprised. I'm just not surprised. But Mr. Carroll, don't you dare step down from your seat. Okay, you stay there till July 2025. Okay, you're going to be ostracized. Hey, it's okay. It's all right. It's all right, you know. But that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mark McCart. I've been a resident of Hackensack now for close to 30 years. I've stood in front of this council and I've thanked you for the work you've done with rec and providing fields for soccer. And I don't think I've ever come here as upset as I am tonight. This is not about politics. This is about morality. This is about decency. And you're judged by the company you keep. And when a man I really respect, who's also been a citizen of Hackensack for, I believe, his entire life, who dedicates a huge amount of his time to helping kids, is treated the way he was treated in a city that I stay in because of the diversity, that I talk about what a different city we are, that we're just accepting of everyone. You know, when there was the Black Lives Matter marches, the police marched with us. You know, that's how Hackensack was different. And when a councilman speaks to somebody that, like I said, I respect so much, the way, I'm literally saddened and I'm ashamed. And I really want to know, what are you going to do? Are you going to stand up for what's right? Are you going to, when the one woman mentioned Menendez, when he was caught out on his shenanigans, we asked him to step down. We separated ourselves from him. We said, we don't want that. Are you going to do that? Are you going to stand up for what's right here? And are you going to condemn what was done? Because we know it happened. There's no question of it. Are you going to publicly condemn what happened? Are you going to ask him to step down? Because he doesn't belong on that dais. I'm sorry. Hackensack's better.
I will be brief. My name is Blanche Stewart. Most people know me as Candy. In the course of those years that the LaBrosse ticket has been here, there have been 3 members who have been ostracized, kicked off their ticket, and I'll name those: Mr. Carroll, Mr. Sims, and Ms. Kaylin Geddes. That speaks a lot.
I can speak. How you doing, guys?
Hey,
How you
how
doing?
you doing?
I'm not here to talk about politics.
Can you just identify yourself?
Who said that?
Me.
My name is Elijah Covington. I'm the last Hackensack wrestling team to win the state championship in Hackensack. All right, the last track team to win. My year. So I've been in Hackensack all my life. I done won, I done lost, and Mr. Lee over there, we're not gonna stop until you get out that seat. I'm gonna make it my job. I'm bigger than what you may think I am. Sean is bigger than what you may think it is. You're wrong, and it ain't gonna stop. I have no problem with nobody else. Not into politics, but you, sir, time to retire.
Good evening.
Good evening.
You could list me as the conclusion, because I believe I'm going to be the last person to talk in here on the matter.
Do
I
we have
didn't
name,
write a
sir?
speech.
I'm sorry, did you give your name to the clerk?
Yeah, my name is Mark Edwards.
Thank you.
I'm Sean Holder's older brother. I don't ever announce that I'm his older brother because I don't need to. He doesn't stand in my shadow. He stands in his own. Someone mentioned to me that I usually only come out when something bad is happening. And something bad happened. I don't write words. I speak from the heart. So understand where I'm coming from, and I mean no disrespect. But I think you all disrespected your seat by allowing that to even go on. And there's been 2 weeks that passed when you speedily let someone go based off of certain remarks that might not have been true. Mr. Attorney, you looked a little bit under pressure. This is my insight, not saying that you were. By the deputy mayor wanted you to say something that you might not believe was true. That's me.
Well,
it might not be true, but that's me.
And to be clear, I said what I said.
Yes, sir.
I believe Councilman Carroll affirmed what I
appreciate-
said.
Yeah, I like the sound of that. I like
let's
the
be
sound
clear
of it.
about that.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it because it's your truth. I can't denounce that.
It's our truth.
It's our truth. And I'll take that, right? Because I'm part of Hackensack. Yes? Now, 2 weeks ago, I was invited here, and I didn't know exactly what I was coming for. But I saw and I heard a lot. And I came back tonight, and I saw and I heard a lot. So I don't have to really say anything that's redundant. But I think the one word that was missed was bully. Kids, don't become a bully. This is what you look like. It's not a representation of Hackensack. When I came 2 weeks ago, I happened to send a text out to a friend and I said, this doesn't not look like what Hackensack is. And I heard you guys were gonna let someone go to make a stronger ticket. I'm gonna tell you all to enjoy your time in the seats. I'm wearing my glasses, so I'm not wearing my glasses, so I can't see your reactions. But I wanted you to see my face. And it's not a threat, but take it as what you ever want. Enjoy your seats while you have them. Because the one thing that's going on with the city of Hackensack, and it's been mentioned, the overwhelming population, the city is no longer being seen. And it's more so now the egos are coming out. I thought the bench had a little bit more temperament, but I saw the reaction. Fuses are short. Bombs go off. But the city will get rebuilt, right? I'll stand on it.
Was that the last speaker for the evening? That was the conclusion, but there's other people here who might have something else to say. Anyone else would like to speak publicly? Okay. Motion to close to the public?
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Stephanie?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. I appreciate everyone's presence and concern tonight. And I believe that anytime someone uses racist, derogatory, or biased terms or words. Can you hear me? Sorry. Can you hear me now? Okay. I believe that anytime someone uses racist, derogatory, or biased terms or words, it's wrong, and there's no place in our community for it. I've listened to everyone and understand how you feel. However, Press's comments really resonated because they were not divisive or more inflammatory, but instead truthful and on point. I still believe many of us decide to publicly serve and come to these meetings and voice our opinions to make a difference, and we want to make life better for our fellow citizens. However, I've also come to realize over the past few years that some will stop at nothing to benefit themselves. I've also realized that some are fueled by such hate towards others and certain groups of people that they will stop at nothing, including lying, making threats, and intimidating others to take them out. And unfortunately, the ones that simply want to serve to make things better sometimes don't have the stamina or will to keep going in this vicious cycle. I've been consistent in my beliefs of doing what is right, even when it's easier to do wrong, giving credit where it's due, and always having the best person for the job in its place. I regularly have recognized teachers in the district for their exemplary service. I've sent emails to administrators, make recommendations for the Governor's Excellence Awards, wrote letters of recommendations for jobs and coaching positions, support Board of Ed candidates who I believe will put students first, support coaches and volunteers, donate to families in need, and I've even coached and ran programs myself and served children and families of all backgrounds, and don't base that on race. While everyone's entitled to their opinions and politics should open the lines of communications to disagree and share our differences, when the dangerous inflammatory lies are made that affect families, it is difficult to stay quiet. Mr. Holder's brother mentioned a very important word, bully, that was left out. And I can relate, as my own children have faced bullying and treated differently based on their race in the schools. So I need everybody to understand that right now as we sit here and our emotions are high and things that were said are completely wrong. Again, bias and bigotry doesn't belong anywhere here, but we have to understand how we treat each other on a day-to-day basis, because it happens a lot more than this isolated incident that we're referring to. We really have to come together as a community and treat each other with respect and stop basing things on race, because I feel like a lot of times it comes back to always race. We have to treat each other with respect and with caring, and it sounds so cliche, but love. All our kids are in the same schools together. We all coach together. We all work together, and we really have to just stand back and just say, what is our main mission here? What's our bottom line? We want to make sure our students and our children are brought up in a community where they're accepting of everybody, and that's how I always felt Hackensack to be. It's very diverse. It's one of the most diverse districts in northern New Jersey and in Bergen County, and that's important. And somebody mentioned that earlier today too. We really have to just hold the brakes, realize what we're saying, what we're doing, and especially in front of children. We take everything very seriously. Any instances like this that happened, we appreciate everybody coming out here tonight. But again, this is a bigger conversation. We really have to take a step back and look at everything that's going on. And supporting each other, and not just this isolated incident, but...
It's not an isolated incident. Wait a minute. We're isolated.
No.
Sir.
I'm talking
You
about
can't speak now, I'm sorry.
the incident that you are all here for.
Yeah, but we've all been
We're not going to go back and forth. The meeting's
I
over.
understand
Everybody
that.
from the public had a chance.
I didn't know I just started
Okay.
isolated. I'm like, wait, isolated.
No. I'm saying everybody that's here for something that just happened.
You're more than welcome
I'm
to
saying
have a
in general,
conversation with the
in general.
councilwoman after the meeting about this. All right?
Okay?
Thank you.
So, again, I appreciate everybody being out here. We take everyone's concerns seriously, and, again, the lines of communication have to be open, and working together to solve a problem. So I appreciate it.
Thank you, Steph. Again, a lot of feelings tonight, a lot of concern. I echo those feelings and that concern. There is certainly no room in this city, in any school, in any playground, in any game, for derogatory comments to be made, especially comments of a type that have a racial implication. 100% agree that that is not to be tolerated, and that is something that should not and should never happen in our city or any city. Let me just take you, there are two issues here tonight, and I'm going to talk about the most important issue, which is what happened in the soccer games or the soccer practice. And the second issue is someone that basically called me a liar tonight, which I will not, I'm sorry. Those were the two issues. Those were the two issues, and I will not and cannot tolerate. I'm a woman.
Lying to prejudice.
Yes.
I'm.
Compare lying to mental health.
No, sir, you're not allowed to speak.
Outburst from the audience, I'm sorry. She has a.
You're gonna be
you had a
removed.
right
I have a right to speak.
She has a right to speak, okay? You don't have to agree with her. Please, sir, you don't have to agree with her.
The most important issue is what happened tonight, what happened during the soccer issues. Oh, here we go. If you don't want to hear what I have to say, for those, I'll give you a moment to leave. For those that wish to stay, I would like the opportunity to at least tell you the story as I know it. When I received the visit from my neighbors about what happened, this is before the racial issue had happened.
Let him clear out there.
They gotta go home and study anyway.
Thank you for those who stayed. The incidents, as I recall, was I was away for the weekend. When I returned home, neighbors came to my house to talk to me about what happened at the practice at the middle school field, where there was an incident and there was a lot of confusion, and the children were basically very upset by what happened. The children at that point were having to play at the middle school and then be transported over and play at Johnson Park, and none of these things seemed to be working. Right? My first decision at that point was, what can we do quickly so we can dissipate or put an end to what happened that day at the field and allow the children to get back to the sport they love and play and enjoyment. And Allison helped me, and between the two of us, we were able to get the portable lights installed at the middle school, and have that middle school field dedicated solely to the team here that had the permit for it. It was not until a day or so later, whenever this incident happened at the other field, that I became or was made aware of words that were spoken that had racial implications. That next morning, I received the call from Mr. Carroll, as I'm not going to go through that in agonizing detail. I know what was said. There's no reason that I would make anything up. That's ridiculous. We had a discussion. I asked the city attorney to please intervene, which he did. He received basically the same story, that it was not going to be cast or dispersed onto just the individual involved, but it was going to be that the entire council were racists. And that, of course, is something that I know is not true. And I know there is no evidence of that or nothing to support that statement. And I stand by that 100%. I hope everyone can move forward as a community together from this. The investigation that took place and what Mr. Battaglia is going to say here tonight, I have no control over, and no one on the council does either. Do I believe firmly that there should be an apology for what happened? I agree with everyone here 100% on that. Whatever the circumstance was, I believe an apology is absolutely due, not only, and I'm sorry that they left, not only to the coach that it was said to, but to all of the children that witnessed it. because that is not what Hackensack is about. That's not the Hackensack that I've lived here for 52 years in the same house that I know and I believe that Hackensack is about. I am personally sorry for what happened. I hope that we never have anything like this happen again. And as neighbors that came to my house to ask for help, I welcome anyone who wishes to do the same, and I will do whatever I can to expedite and put the situation back on track. Thank you for those who stayed to listen.
Leo?
First of all, I want to make very clear that I will never intentionally make any kind of racial statement about any person. I have been very involved with the recreation programs in the city for many years. I will never intentionally make any negative statements about anyone's race. That's the only thing I have to say. And I reserve my comments to the end of the investigation, and I want to prove to you that there's a bunch of lies. Thank you for hearing, okay?
Mr. Carroll?
Good evening. At the last city council meeting, I wanted to be transparent to the public about the alleged racial incident involving a city council member. The night before the meeting, a news article was published removing me from the council upcoming election ticket. Today, NorthJersey.com published an article titled Hackensack Council Drama Contribute to Racial Comments at a High School Soccer Game. This article helps to explain why I wanted to be transparent to the public about the alleged comments made by that council member. Again, I'd like to thank everyone who sent emails, texts, and messages, and phone calls expressing their concerns about this situation. Please, when you find time, please read that article, and that will explain everything that transpired. I'd like to thank everyone who has attended this meeting physically and remotely. Take care, and God bless.
Thank you for your comments, council. So, I wish the kids were still here, because that's who the first ones I wanted to speak to, but they're gone. So, and they deserve an apology, as well as coach, as well as any parent who was there that night. Leo, that's my personal opinion, but you should have apologized a long time ago. A couple things were said tonight. I'm going to go back and forth in different directions here. Comment was made about some council members that were removed. So David Sims was, yes, he wasn't asked to run with us again. 100% true. But David Sims also brought a COVID-infected patient into this city hall knowing that person had COVID, all right? That's not the kind of, and anybody involved in politics, and I know we got a lot sitting here in front, no offense, we're politicians, you guys have run for politics, all right? Everybody knows what's gonna happen to that person, all right, when election comes up. And not only that person, what it's gonna do to anybody running. So if you wanted to run and win, you're certainly not gonna keep that person on the ticket. It's just common sense, guys. It's politics. It's politics. You've done it in the Board of Ed, you've done it in different situations. Deborah Keeling, I don't remember removing her from the ticket.
She wasn't
That
on
was
our
just-
ticket. She wasn't on our ticket.
She was, we just ran with somebody else. She wasn't on our ticket to begin with, in the beginning. I'm not talking about removing
She
from here, I'm
shouldn't
talking
be
about
speaking.
taking them off the ticket. The comment was made about council people removed. As far as the other stuff, I'd have to go back and see what reason it was, okay? And who was the other person? It was Mr. Carroll, all right? People say politics don't come into play. This is politics, guys. A lot of it's politics, and we know it, you know? People that have run against us, there's probably 10 of them here tonight, okay? So that tells me something. Every time I see you guys, no offense, I know it's what we call, and you call silly season, all right? Upcoming. So let's not fool each other on that, all right? Let's have the respect to look each other in the face, say, hey, we're coming for you. We understand that. all right? And that's okay. That's politics. I understand it. Kasim, Mr. Gaines, I appreciate some of your comments. I appreciate your theatrics. You're one of the best speakers I've ever seen at that podium, right? Do a great job. Don't agree with everything you said. Don't disagree with everything you said. But let's get down to what happened here, okay? We have a situation where this council member, to me, you know, I had people come to my house. I had parents coming to my house, soccer player parents coming right to my house, all right? That's never happened. I'm up here for 11 years. Sorry, this is off. I'm up here for 11 years. That's never happened where somebody's come to my house with an issue like this. So I took it seriously. And they were neighbors. They actually lived down the block near Deputy Mayor. And I listened to everything they had to say, and I was very concerned. I gave them my apologies. At that time, the incident with Coach Holder had not happened at Paramus High School. That was days later, I believe, on probably 3 or 4 days later. When that incident happened, I did write, there was an email that went out to the city council. I did write back to Coach Holder saying it's inappropriate and nobody should have to go through that. And in this day and age where we live, and especially a city like Hackensack, we're proud of our diversity, it's unacceptable, all right? And I made it clear to him that it's unacceptable, and I told him there'll be an investigation. With that, there was comments made, or conversation with the city manager about investigating the situation, which he did, and I won't say the outcome of that investigation right now, but that's where that was. But my biggest concern is all this happened in front of the kids. And you know what's even just as bad? Even having the kids here tonight was rough on the kids, because they probably, a lot of these younger ones don't understand it. Some of the older ones do, the teenagers do, but some of the younger ones, these 5, 6, 7-year-olds, it's confusing for them. They see what happened on the field, and then they're brought here, and they see that person who was on the field, and they see this situation. To me, it's sad to even see that. The good part of that is it's good for the older kids to be involved in a civil issue like this, because it teaches them a lot, I think. So moving forward, I agree with some of the comments that were made before. You know, we're better than this. We've got to get through this. You know, this isn't Hackensack. I know, Natasha, you nailed it when you said, you know, you were talking about what we have here and the way we are in Hackensack. You nailed it. I remember having a comment with you once on Main Street. I won't say where, about what is the demographic in the buildings. All right, you worked in one of the buildings. I don't know if you're still there. And it was important to me to know that. And your comment was, and it was the happiest comment I could have heard, was, it's just like Hackensack. And that's, to me, meant a lot, because all we hear is all negative stuff about all these buildings, but the people in these buildings are just like you and us. They're all different colors, they're all different diversities, it's ethnicities. It's wonderful. It's great. Yeah, it's Hackensack expanded. Absolutely. And I got to tell you, I take it to heart when I see a lot of people on social media hating on the new residents. That, to me, is despicable. These are human beings just like us, and people are hating on them because they're not true Hackensackians. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. We all came from somewhere, guys. Come on. That's not right. So that's not Hackensack either when I hear that stuff, all right? It's not Hackensack. So I'm going to ask us all to take a step back, you know, assess the situation. I want to welcome members of the PBA here who I know were actively against us on social media. That's okay. That's politics too. Get it. We get it. With that, everybody get home safely. Probably see you in a couple meetings or the next meeting. Actually, I'll be gone for the next meeting. I'll be on vacation, unfortunately. But get home safely. Enjoy the rest of the evening, and let's reflect. I'm sorry, it's time for a comment. If you want to talk to me afterwards, I'm more than happy. All right? Thanks.
Motion to close.